Hello and welcome to the Hemingway Jones live pen show. This is a place where I make videos for curious people like you, so thank you for joining me this evening for a very special edition of the Hemingway Jones pen show. And why is it special? Well, for a couple reasons. One is I'm going to do this without any notes. I have quite a bit to share with you to talk about tonight, and I didn't want to interrupt myself by checking on myself to make sure I said everything, because you know what? If I don't, that's why there is next week. The second most important reason why this is a very special show is that at 9 o'clock, I debut a new video for the Esterbrook Esty Back to the Land fountain pen, which I have here. The Back to the Land. Ooh, look at that reflection. Ooh, very nice. So, as you know, with all my videos, it's not about the pen. It's not about the pen. It's about so much more. It's the pen and the world. It's the world filtered through the pen. I'm interested in fountain pens, inks, journals, and journaling. I'm interested in keeping you inspired. I'm interested in all of us striving to be better people, being more caring, more connected, more involved in each other's lives, developing our characters, learning new things. Why not? Come on this journey with me. If you watch every week, please subscribe. I'd love to have you with us. And if you want to support the channel even more and keep the lights on and keep the production value high and to keep me independent and not tempted to be sponsored by anyone, then please join the channel as a member. Cognoscenti and Illuminati members have access to our Pen Pal group. Or super chats are lovely too. So thank you for all of that. Thank you for all the likes. I do see the thumbs up as the likes go passing by. I appreciate it very much. Thank you. So tonight I'm going to speak about Grail pens and what I think it means. What does it all mean? What makes a Grail a Grail? What is it that we're longing for? I'm going to do some Grail pen updates. I'm going to talk a bit about some videos I'm working on, including the one we'll be debuting at 9 o'clock on the Esterbrook Esty. Talk a bit about that too. I'm going to talk about some of my editing and some other things that are going on, which I hope you find interesting as I share everything going on in my inner space where my fountain pen dreams are composed and they come out in my videos. So thank you. Thanks for all the likes, guys. Would like to say a couple of show notes. I know sometimes people get a little disappointed that I might not see your comments or whatnot, but please remember that I need to take a screenshot of what I see and to post it in the community section so you guys see that what I see is not what you see. I'm using a streaming service so that I can do interviews and so I can monitor things that are going on with the show. Like I see a feed so I know whether or not you can hear me, hopefully, whether or not you can see me. I do see a scroll that has your comments. And most of the time, when I look down, you guys are talking in the chat with each other. So occasionally when I look down, I'll see something addressed to me and then I address it. But it's hard. I can't really scroll through looking for things that are addressed to me. You'd see me looking off to the side, reading for 5 minutes. My eyes aren't that great anyway. I do see super chats. Super chats get highlighted for me in blue. So when a super chat comes in, I do see that that's meant for me. And I, of course, want to acknowledge your generosity. So just want you guys to know that, because I did hear that last week. Gosh, the member slips my mind, but someone was very disappointed that I didn't see something that was going on in the comments. And I wish I could. I wish I had a producer that could, say something in my ear like, hey, Tim, pay attention to this, that, or the other thing. But it's hard running a show, making it interesting for you, because this is our chat and our time. So I need to make it flowing and interesting. And I don't have a cohort. I wish I had a co-host or someone I could play off of, but it's all me for an hour. So I'm just trying to keep the show going. So please understand that. And occasionally things go into my feed, literally. So if you do one of those super stickers sometimes, I read it like Ron Burgundy. It'll be like, super sticker, penguin dancing. I don't get to see the penguin dancing. And sometimes I don't get to see it after the fact. Chats are hard to find on YouTube after the fact. I do look for them, and occasionally I do find them, and sometimes I don't. It depends on which device. My iPad looks different than my phone than the television where I usually watch YouTube. So just want you guys to know that as we go into another show. And no, I'm sorry. I wish I could see everything. If you want me to see it, you want to make sure I see it, I'll see it in a super chat or email me. I'll definitely see an email eventually. So there you have it. Okay. Let's talk about a recent Grail pen and an update. So let me show you something. It's show and tell already. We're getting right into it. It's 7 past the hour. Ooh, look at that. Does anybody know what that is? So the case has arrived for my Waterman Edson. It's a little rough, but that's okay. I wanted to have it. I might film with it. I still haven't filmed with this pen, but it's lovely, isn't it? It's very heavy, the case. Truffet was great. Chris sent it out so fast. I was really impressed. I actually sent him a little reminder DM like, hey, no pressure, but whenever you can send the boxes, please do. And then I went home and they were there. So he is fantastic. Ooh, look at the prettiness. You know I'm over the moon about this pen. Ooh, and this is actually sort of what is inspiring all of my Grail pen talk. Yeah, shit. So that's a shame. It's got some stuff stuck on it from the case. Let me get that. And I did drop it, but I broke its fall with my foot, which is good. But look at that. I might not put it in there anymore because it might not interact well with this case. You see, it's got a little like papery schmutzy on there. So this is definitely probably past its prime. But that's how you learn these things. But this is part of the reason I wanted to talk about Grail pens, because a very important reason. I still haven't filled it. Isn't that insane? Like, I still haven't filled this pen because I haven't had a chance to. I've been so busy with things, and I was waiting for the box, and the box came, and I just haven't got around to it. Now we're 2 weeks from the pen show, and I still haven't filled it. So I'm very bad that way. It's just the nature of when you make videos, you just kind of forget. You kind of want to do stuff and you don't get around to it. By the way, this is what cushioned its fall. These are my house shoes, which are called Old Beijing shoes. And I only wear these around the house and they never go outside. But I love these shoes. I think they're so cool. And by cool, I mean like over the top. They're super comfortable. I love this dragon. Look at this. Aren't these cool? So I buy these on Amazon for like $23. I used to get them in Chinatown, but I don't get to Chinatown as often as I used to. And they're super comfortable, and I don't wear shoes, like proper shoes, in my house. You may have seen sometimes behind me when I shoot the length of the library, of the study, you'll see all my shoes are by the door. All my Red Wings and my Aldens and all my shoes are there because I don't wear shoes in the house. My wife doesn't. My daughter doesn't. We don't like to track outside into inside. So I have house shoes, which I change into. Maybe everyone does this. I don't know. But this is the way of my people. And by people, I mean my wife and my daughter. Those are my people. Ellie J. I can't believe you haven't inked it yet. I know, me neither. And it's all pure circumstance. It's because I just haven't had the occasion. What happens when you make videos, and I want to make an epic video on this pen. And let me show it to you again. This is the whole reason. Otherwise it would be inked, but this is the whole reason. These pens have matching converters with the pen. And so it's only going to be this clean once. This pen has never been inked. It will be by me because I love stuff like that. I have a typewriter that was never typed on. It's a letter of Ventadue. Who made that? Why am I drawing a blank on it? It's the Tom Ripley typewriter from the Minghella movie. It's oh boy, I'll think of it later. Maybe somebody in the comments can tell me. Sometimes you just draw blanks. But when I got it, it was packaged and in a box, and it had been in the back of someone's closet since the 1950s. But I inked it. I put a ribbon on that, and I typed with it right away. So I'm going to do the same with this, but I need to record me filling it, which I almost did tonight, because this is a manner of recording, and then I'd have it for when I do the video. So that was the plan and the reason why I haven't inked it yet. And let me take a moment to thank all the members. Thank you all for being here and for all your great support, comments, your chats. I hope you guys all stick around for the debut of the Esterbrook Esty Back to the Land. I'm going to show you the box again. Video that I am premiering at 7. So I want to talk a little bit about that. So this is very important because I read some comments and sometimes people are a little critical, and you know, you have a right to level any criticism you feel. So I completely understand that. But I want you to know something very, very important. I'm going to debut this pen. You may have seen it, you may not have seen it. Even if you have seen it or a video on it, you haven't seen a video like mine. Mine goes into the 1970s. It goes into the influences of this pen. It goes into some stories of mine from the 1970s and what the 1970s mean to me, which are quite a bit. By the way, I wore this polo as a... I always feel like this polo looks a bit retro 1970s. This is actually LL Bean's signature, but I wore this to go along with the 70s theme. So, very important. So I want to get back to that, but first I'm going to recognize some lovely people with super chats. First off, Openside Morpheus, $2 super chat. Here's some help to get ink in that pen. Thank you so much, Openside Morpheus. Thank you. And I don't recognize the name, so thanks for being here, and I hope you come often, and I'm really happy to see you in the chat. So welcome, warmest of welcomes. Ooh, my haters here. I got my thumbs down every week at my live. I get my hater who gives me a thumbs down. Never wants to talk. We could talk it out. We could hug it out. Maybe we have issues. Maybe you don't like learning new things, but maybe we can talk and come to some kind of agreement. I mean, I appreciate the hate watchers too, because it helps. You're actually engaging with the video, so it helps the algorithm. But thank you. And if you do hate me, put it in the comments. I'd love to meet you. Believe me, I'm not being ironic. I'm being serious. I like to talk things out when there's differences, so it would be fun. Maybe I could interview you. You could come on the show. Oh, now I have 2 haters. You come on the show. It would be fine. Michael Rowley, $5.99. Michael Rowley, thank you so much. $4.99 super chat. Thank you for your support. I appreciate it. Maybe I should bring the critics on. Wouldn't that be fun? It could be like a debate. So, back to the 70s. So, when I show this tonight at 9, I have a product, okay, that I am selling. And it's not in this box. This is Esterbrook in the box. They make fantastic pens, and I am more than happy to talk about them. And when something attracts my attention or tells a good story or has a bit of warmth and connection to it, like Esterbrook, who I just really like the people and I like how they look at the fountain pen community and how much they support you guys and how much they support writers. I just want to support them. If I have some kind of narrative, that's what I'm trying to do. I am trying to highlight the story, the narrative, the associations that go along with the pen. Specifically with this one, the 1970s, which I love. I love the 70s. And you'll learn a lot about that tonight at 9 o'clock when the video premieres. I don't want you to buy a pen. That's the last thing. I show a Lockbee journal, the adventure journal. People in the comments were saying, oh, every influencer has a review of this and all you guys are shilling for Lockbee and this and that. Let me tell you something. Honestly, Lockbee gave me that journal. That's not enough to bribe me to make a video or to say nice things. In fact, if I say really horrible things about Lockbee or Esterbrook or Omas or anyone, the video would do so much better than if I were to say really beautiful, harmonious things about how much I love them. I cannot be bought with a pen or with a journal. It would take a lot to buy goodwill from me. For one thing, my integrity is worth so much more than anything a pen company could offer me. I'm in banking, I'm unimpeachable in the level of my integrity. I've lived my entire life that way. So I'm not a shill for anything or anybody. What I am, though, is someone who loves stories and loves when I see something in a product that I know I can make a compelling video. Like the Lockbee journal. I looked at it and I was like, that looks like a barber jacket. So then I started to spin this narrative about how it's a barber jacket for your journal. And then you can take it on adventures. And then you think, okay, well, my other journals are like my desk journals or what have you. This is my adventure journal. That's the narrative. So I'm going to recognize someone. I saw a blue one go up, I thought. I recognized Michael Rowley. Oh, he hit me with another one. What a hero. Thank you. 199. Olivetti let the Leventi do it. Yeah, that's what it is. Thank you. So yes, my Olivetti Lettera 22 came in the box. And it was a prize from a Tupperware party in the 1950s. And the lady kept it in her closet for 50 years and sold it. And I spent like $600 for it because I wanted the experience of using a new vintage typewriter for the first time. So it's absolutely brilliant. So thank you for that. Thank you. And thank you for the super chat. I really appreciate it. And let me also recognize Ken T. $5. Thank you, Ken T. Thank you for the great videos. It gives me a chance to slow down and ground myself again. Ken, that makes me so happy. That's the point. These videos are about us sharing some communion, us kind of taking a moment and enjoying something from a particular perspective. Let me use a little drink, excuse me. This is watermelon and cucumber juice from Trader Joe's. It's so good. It's so good. So thank you, Ken. I really appreciate your generous support. Thank you. Okay, so let me get back to the point on Esterbrook, okay? So, Brian, you may have seen in my DC Pen Show stream, which wasn't the best quality, I will admit. The Wi-Fi was terrible in there. Maybe I should have shot it and then posted it. I'm going to the Commonwealth. I might do things a little different. I do have remote microphones now. They stick on with a magnet, so you should be able to hear me as long as they work, because technology can be dodgy. But let's see. So I'm going to debut that at the Commonwealth Pen Show, which is on September 13th at the Somerville Armory. And I will be there that Saturday at 11, and I'll probably stay 3-4 hours. So that's the plan. I will be there. So hopefully you guys will be there. So Brian gave me this wonderful Esterbrook Estie Back to the Land fountain pen, and I started to think, wow, you know, it's an homage to the 1970s. What about color in the 70s? Because there's two other colors. There's a green, there's like a red. How were colors used in the 70s? And we know that there were very vivid Crayola shades in the 1970s. And I came up with this whole idea about color and culture and transition and the pen. And that's what my video is based on. So this is a very long way of saying that my product is not the pen. It's not any of these pens. It's not even this pen. It's no pen. I don't want you to buy a journal. I don't want you to buy a pen. I don't want you to buy anything you don't need. I am not a pen shop. I don't make any money if you buy a Lockbee journal. I don't make a dime. Sometimes I do. I always make that clear when I do. I try to make it clear when things are given to me as well. But I've never been paid for a video. And if I ever were, I'd never give up editorial control, because my critics that were saying that I was a shill for Lockbee, maybe they didn't watch the video. Because did you guys watch the video? I mean, I would say I liked it quite a bit, but I had a whole heap of criticisms. I would say I was probably 60 to 70% positive. Am I being fair to myself? Am I being accurate? I didn't like the bookmarks. I had some problems with the clasp. I wish there was a zipper pocket. I didn't like where the pens holders were placed. There were a lot of things I didn't like about it. It was far from a glowing hagiographic review of an item. It was a measured criticism. And by the way, the Lockbee people loved it. They loved it. They wrote to me after the fact. You always get a little nervous when you hear back from them. They wrote back and they said, I really appreciated your video. We love the feedback, the criticisms. We're going to take them back to our design team. And since then, they even told me that they're looking into the material on the latch to see if they can stiffen it up so it doesn't get hung up as much as it does. So they listened and they enjoyed and appreciated the criticism. That's a very good company. And I'll say this also. You remember my Ellington pens review? That was very, very critical. That was probably more critical than it was positive. But I think I was fair. I really think I was absolutely fair. They wrote me the kindest note. They said, thank you. We consider you the authority on fountain pens, which was very kind of them to say. And we're going to take your criticisms back, but we appreciated working with you. Thank you for the great video. Everyone on the team saw it and we loved it. So very classy of them to do that. They could have just written me off. So very classy. And speaking of classy, extremely classy, I have to mention the mighty, the lovely Marcus Souza with the $30 super chat. Hi everyone, a little late, but I'm here. What a great way to announce your arrival. Marcus Souza, one of my favorite people. Thank you so much, my friend. Thank you. Thank you for the super chat. As I delve into my cucumber and watermelon juice. From Trader Joe's. It's the best. So, let me show you guys something else. A little more show and tell, shall we? So, this came as well. This is the box for the Montblanc Around the World in 80 Days. And I put it back away in here. This came from Everything's in here. It's just like the 100-year 149 box, by the way. And this little sleeve, that seems to be what they do now. So this is going to drive you all crazy as well, because I've had this for over 2 weeks, and similar to the mighty Edson, I have not inked this up yet. I have not written with it. I have not put ink in here yet. And you know what? I guess we could argue that this one also matches. So I have not done anything with this yet. The reason is I was waiting for a bottle of ink that was generously donated by J.R. Diaz. And it has arrived. And in fact, it arrived a while ago. But that doesn't change anything. Because here's the ink. If I don't film it, it doesn't happen. And I've been too busy to film. I've been too busy filming other stuff to film this. But here it is. What a lovely gesture, isn't it? So this is the Montblanc Around the World in 80 Days ink with the beautiful same sort of visual design language. So this is super fun. So hey, he's here too. What a fantastic fellow. Thank you so much, my friend. Here's to you. Thank you. You're really helping the channel with this. It was extremely generous of you. Normally, I'm sort of like hesitant to take anything. Oh, by the way, look how cool this is. It has the route of Around the World in 80 Days here for this leg of the tour. I'm usually really hesitant to take such a generous gift from someone, but so nice. So nice. Thank you. And my pen I'm using lately is Terry Edgington gave me this beautiful pen case. I just filmed an episode on pen cases. And I've been using my Egyptomania quite a bit lately. I didn't buy some Heritage babies that were at the pen show, and I'm regretting it. Except that I spent enough money, so I'm not. But they have the same nib as this, so I've been using this quite a bit. Quite a bit. Thank you, as always, to Terry for a wonderful, wonderful gift. You're going to see this in an upcoming episode. I decided to do an episode on pen cases. Conversational. Sometimes I like to do these videos where I challenge myself a little, and I tried to do the entire video in one take without a single cut. So I did it where I was really speaking to the green light on my MacBook very conversationally, and I made it about 10 minutes in, and then I was speaking about one of my pen cases, and I started to talk about how much it cost. And I realized I forgot how much it cost. So I had to hit pause and go look and come back. But that's the only break in the whole video. So it's not as fast-paced as my normal videos because I didn't eliminate any of my peculiar speech patterns. You know, I sometimes have that weird halting speech of mine, and sometimes in my videos I cut the pauses out. I'm a little bit like William Dafoe in how I speak. Not William Dafoe. Who's the other chap? Christopher Walken. I have like that weird kind of Christopher Walken cadence to my speech. So there we go. Tom Sheehan says, I would be scared to take that pen out of my house in case it got damaged. Are you speaking of the Egyptomania? You know, you would be, but it's such a great pen. I took it to the office today, and I even took a photo of it at my office, and I haven't posted it. I often post things like that on Instagram just to show which pen I'm using. But it's such a good pen. It's so fun. It's so flowy, so wet. It's a bit wide. It's a very flowy medium. It's very medium plus, maybe medium/broad. Great for signing your name. Oh boy. So great. Big curls. Go for it. Fantastic. So you have to. And I got the right case thanks to Terry. I actually worry about the case. The case is gorgeous, and it'd be very difficult to replace out there. So, more cowbell. You know, Christopher Walken. Yeah, do my best Christopher Walken that I can. Lots of stuff here. So much to talk about. Tonight, 9 o'clock, unveils Esterbrook Estie Back to the Land premiere video, which means I'll be in on the chat. We'll all have to click over at 9 o'clock. I'd love to redirect you, but I don't know how that works. So at 9 o'clock, we all have to click over, myself included. This Thursday is also another video, and I think you're really going to like this one because it's one area where I do feel like this channel is a bit remiss. There's one area that I feel I don't address enough, and that's inks. I feel like we cover journaling, a lot of mental health stuff, which I'm really, really proud of. We do a lot of fountain pen content, maybe the most, taking a pen and extrapolating from there. But I don't do a lot of inks. So this Thursday is an ink video. And the reason I don't do a lot of inks is that people don't watch them. It just seems that people don't watch them as much as the other stuff I make. But this week, Sheen War. So there are two inks that I've always wondered which one was better. My ultimate sheening ink is Krishna's Moonview 2. But that's my anecdotal opinion. Me using it myself. But what if I were to subject it to a side-by-side comparison with Birmingham Pen Company's Tesla Coil? Krishna's Moonview 2. Battle it out for Sheen supremacy. Who wins? Who could win? Is it a draw? Is it ever a draw? Is it ever really a draw? Or is that a cop-out? Let me know in the comments. Honestly, who do you think wins? And if you're watching the playback, put it in the comments, not the chat. I'd love to know what you think between Tesla Coil from Birmingham Pen Company and Moonview 2 from Krishna. The nearly mythical ink. It's mythic at this point. It's elusive. It's almost a Grail ink, if that's a possibility. And I think it is. Well, I need to recognize someone, even though that gave me a fantastic transition. But I need to recognize Dave B. $10. Thank you, Dave B. I was worried about taking my Visconti Homo sapiens out of the house when I first got it, but I just enjoy writing with it so much I couldn't help it but take it to work once in a while. Well, my friend, as you know, the Visconti Homo sapiens is supposed to be indestructible, although I have never tested that theory. Maybe when I have 100,000 subscribers and I'm making some kind of money through YouTube and I can buy one, I'll start hitting it with a hammer. Can you imagine? I couldn't do it. I couldn't be the Mr. Beast of fountain pens. I couldn't do that to a fountain pen. Yeah, I don't think I could do it. It'd be interesting to know what it could take, though, wouldn't it? Just not right for me. Let me see. A cheer fake name or fakeanami says, inks are always distorted, so it's kind of pointless to show them. Yeah, let me think about that. I mean, there's certainly a lot of different filters that go through with inks because you have to calibrate your color when you make your film. And then you have to hope that those that are watching have in some way calibrated their screens. And since most people are watching on iPhones and you don't really calibrate an iPhone screen the way you do a laptop, you're correct. But I think in this instance, certainly, because it's Sheen. Sheen is somewhat of a measurable quality. So I think here there is very much a point to it. But I also think even in the other videos, have you watched my, Ichiro, have you watched my inks inspired by tea video? Because forget the inks. That video is just pretty. My wife was like the art director on that. So she helped me arrange the different teapots. And we also talk about teas and how they taste. And we compared them to the inks in color and kind of we saw how they related to like taste and quality of the leaf to the actual ink. Beautiful stuff. So I think you can be very, very creative with inks. And one of the things I'm going to do one night is just go through my ink library and talk about inks. Sort of like flipping pages and just putting it out there, just so you guys can see those that have passed through these doors. So there you have it. Michael Rowley asks a very important question. Do you guys clean out your pen after using a sheening ink? If I were to use a different ink, I would. But I only put sheening and glitter inks in pens that are like, $35 pens or thereabouts, maybe up to $50. I generally don't put them into vintage pens. I don't put them into expensive pens. I kind of reserve TWSBI for sheen and shimmer. That's just me. They're easy to field strip, easy to clean. I'd probably put it in a Lamy too. But yeah, that's kind of how I look at it. If it's just me. So here we are at 8:37. So we're going to talk about the main topic. But first, a reminder, if you watch this show every week, then please subscribe and consider becoming a member. I would appreciate the support. And it would be so fun to be on a journey together as we go to all these different places. Tonight, we're going to look at the Esterbrook Estie at 9 o'clock. We'll flip over to that. And then this Thursday, we have Sheen War, where the Birmingham Pen Company Tesla coil battles it out with the mighty Krishna Moonview 2, who reigns supreme. I don't know. Actually, I do know, but I'm not telling. Because I don't want to ruin it. And you're going to enjoy it. You are really, really going to enjoy it. So, yes. So, Grail pens. I think quite a bit about them. I think in my collecting journey right now, it's going more toward the Grails. It's going more toward the extremely interesting things. I have always been driven by my curiosity. I am not motivated by the pens that the community thinks are cool at large or thinks that you should own. I am not driven by status. I don't even understand that concept. I don't think a fountain pen that's expensive confers any kind of status on a person. I think that taste does. I think good taste is the signifier of someone's sophistication and just good sense, good common sense, good taste, good solid taste. Or if they do go a little gauche, they have a nice reason. Like, I think this is a little extravagant. The gold cap's a lot, but it has an Art Deco design language that's very attractive to me. So lately for me, I have been getting away from fleets of similar. I don't think I would buy another TWSBI Eco in a different color at this point. I don't think so. I might live to contradict myself. I hope I do. But it wouldn't be another color, another TWSBI. I have every type of Safari. I love those pens. Maybe I might choose another color, but that's not what's driving me. What's driving me is just interesting things and pens that got away. Pens that you have to sacrifice for. Sacrifice in some way. What do we sacrifice? We sacrifice our time. We sacrifice our treasure. We sacrifice our attention, which is part of time. We sacrifice our imagination, our space. I want a pen that's going to capture me for a length of time, so that it's not just that I bought it and I'm off to something else. I want something that captures my full attention. Thanks for the likes, guys. I see them going by and I really appreciate them. Thank you. Ooh, and thank you to Phil Munson, the mighty Phil Munson, with a $25 super chat. The maturation of a collection. Exciting. Thank you. Thank you so much. I feel like that. I feel like it's a bit like that. You kind of get to the point where you say, I have enough of the typical things. I want interesting. I want exotic. I want something that I have to hunt for and wait for. Like it's not here. Like the Waterman 52 in Red Ripple with a flex nib. I waited a couple years for that. Terry put one up at Peyton Street Pens and I grabbed it. Had to have it. The Edson pen, I didn't even know what it was when I first saw it. I just loved the look of it. I was more like, what is that gorgeous pen? And I couldn't leave it behind. Similar with their Around the World in 80 Days pens. I couldn't let that one by. Or the one from Say that my wife owns. She has a Mackie fountain pen that's gorgeous. Just traditional and amazing. You don't know if it's a pen or like a short dagger or something. It's just so cool. So cool. She built like a little shrine for it. It's in its little pen kimono and she keeps it safe. So pens like that are more interesting to me now. And I think most pens are accessible to most people, one way or another. It's just priorities. You can plop down a credit card and buy something extravagant on occasion. The Grail pen becomes yours. And then you deal with the after effects. Now you have it. Do you ink it or do you look at it for 2.5 weeks waiting to film with it? Or is it your private moment with this pen where you're journaling and it's just you and the journal and the pen and you're connecting? That's the best, isn't it? That's the best thing, I think, for fountain pens. But anytime you can simply get it, when you can just add to cart, Apple Pay, it's on its way automatically. There's something a little bit less fulfilling than something that maybe you fly to Rome and go to a certain pen shop or go to a factory where a pen is made and you take a tour and then at the end you buy it there. And it's very unique. It's that moment. Even if it is obtainable elsewhere. Or a vintage pen that you've had your eye on. You've seen a Durograph. That's not a very good example. Duragraphs are all over the place. A Parker Duofold from the 1930s. And you hunt around for the perfect one. The one you think maybe Hemingway owned in his letters. Maybe you want that one. So you have to sacrifice your time in hunting it down. Kurt Geisinger. Hello, Kurt. $5. You'll need more blue towels, especially if I use Bay State Blue. Should I use Bay State Blue in the Edson? Kurt, thank you so much, my friend. I met Kurt at the DC Pen Show. We had a great time together. Kurt's a great guy. Had him on the show. He wrote a book. Very fantastic fellow. Thank you. So, these kind of pens, I'll give you an example of another one that's at the edge of my imagination. So, you know the baby, what is it, Babyette Noir or Rogette Noir, the Montblanc, Rogette Noir, right? Pardon my French. Red cap, looks very 1930s, a bit like an Egyptomania, but the clip has a wiggly snake on it. Truffet had several. They had one in ebonite that was really pretty. They had one in coral that my friend Izzy bought. I believe Izzy bought the coral one. I met Izzy at the DC Pen Show. Coolest guy. When I grow up, I want to be as cool as Izzy. But he bought this pen with a heritage nib. I wish I had bought one of those, but I was good. I was good. I did enough damage. But I will say that on Peyton Street pens one day, I saw one that looked like the Rosette Noir, but it was spiders. It had a spider on it as a clip, I think. And I didn't buy it. And I hesitated, and I should have. But I hesitated, and it was gone. I think I got distracted, as often happens. But now that pen is at the edge of my imagination. And I haven't seen it around very much. So I think that's part of the allure. Devi Pogorski, who I also met at the DC Pen Show. I love my Scribos. They're special. Leonardo's are as well. I know, you say that, and I should try them. I've yet to try them. But Scribo was what I was thinking about going to Italy, because I'm going to Italy in November. Thanks for the likes, guys. I see them flying by. I appreciate it. Helps to balance out the algorithm and kind of show everyone that we're here, which is very, very good. So I think then with where you get to in your collecting and your collection is that you want very special things. And I know Tom Otto has said this from Goldspot. Tom Otto's really into interesting materials and one-of-a-kind sort of pens. He loves pens with depth and interesting nibs. And, of course, he's one of the people with the most amazing handwriting of anyone I know. So I think that's a very kind of mature way to look at pens from a guy who spends quite a bit of time around all sorts of pens. Now, I will say that there are some fountain pens that are uniquely strange and wonderful, that are out of the norm enough that even though you can add them to your cart, I feel like these are solid Grail picks. And I'm going to give you a little list in a second. A little list of these. So, Robin Pinnell. Thank you, Robin. With 1999 super chat. Ink it. I know, I will. I'm working on it. I will. Thank you so much, Robin. Robin's been a great support of the channel. And I don't know where my Grail diary is, but you're going to see some cool stuff in the B-roll coming up, Robin. So stay tuned for that. Robin makes a very good point. Debbie agrees. So here's my list of very strange pens that you can add to your cart that are truly Grail worthy because they're kind of weird. And I'm going to start at the lower end with the Pilot E95S in burgundy and ivory. Sometimes it's hard to get. Sometimes it sells out. I love Pilot. Did you know I love Pilot? Pilot's one of my favorite pen brands. I have warm, huggy feelings for Pilot. I want a Pilot plushie. I'm a big fan of Pilot. And the E95S is a weird pen. It has a gold nib. It's very much like the hawk, the beak of a hawk. It's very prolonged and it curves down, but it's very lovely and very precise and a fantastic writer. The converter's rubbish, but that's okay. It's just such a really elegant pen with a bit of feminine energy. It looks a bit like a cosmetic product, but I'm very okay with that. And it has a certain mid-century vibe to it, which I also like. And I think it's around $140, $135. I think it's one of the greatest deals in the pen world. And I think that is truly Grail worthy because I had to wait a long time for it to come back into stock. So that's one. Another one, which we were speaking about earlier, is the Visconti Homo sapiens. Any of the resins that have a bit of that igneous dirt in there, rock, crushed in there from a volcanic region around Mount Etna. It's very romantic. It's also an interesting resin. It has a very tactile nature to it. It feels quite good in your hand. It's supposed to be hygroscopic, so if you're sweaty, it's supposed to absorb some of that. I'm not sweaty, so I really don't know. But I do like the way it feels. The nibs, of course, you have to be very careful because the QC can be complete rubbish. But it is truly a Grail pen in every sense of the word. It's also somewhat of a lovely love letter in pen form to Italy and Florence specifically. Even though Mount Etna and Florence are kind of far from each other, but still, it's very much a Firenze pen. It just has that feel with the clip and the design, even the Visconti name. It's just absolutely brilliant. Lakeman says the Homo sapiens is a Grail pen for me. For me too. It's a really, really, really great fountain pen. But have the nib checked by someone like Brendan Schmidt, who checked mine. Hi, Obs. That sounds fantastic. I hope you're addressing something I said, but you might not be. But I'm going to co-opt it anyway. But, Homo sapiens, just lovely fountain pen. If you take a trip to Florence, maybe that's the pen you want to pick up when you go. You can try it out. So that's certainly one that is that level and off the shelf. I had a few more, but boy, my memory is killing me. What was the other ones that I was thinking that are true, like easily accessible? Oh, yeah. I know which one I had in mind. So the Pelikan M1000. I'm going to do a full review on that. I have filmed B-roll on that pen for like the last 2 months at different places. And the M1000 is its own thing. Completely seems different than the other Pelikans. It's a fire hose of ink. I said this before, and I'm going to quote myself. Oh, and thanks for all the likes, guys. I see them going. I really appreciate it. Thank you. The M1000, they should just call them all broads, because I have a fine and it writes like a broad, and the medium in my M800 writes like a broad, and I wonder what a broad writes like. I haven't used a broad, but maybe an extra fine writes wispy, but I don't know what it takes on Pelikan to get a thin line. Regardless, what an experience. What an experience. Wholly different and odd and interesting. Just like the Egyptomania. But the Egyptomania is a limited edition, so I can't really put that on this list. As much as I love it. And I do. Very much. So, I think when it comes to Grail pens, I think the true nature of a Grail isn't about price. Price feels vulgar to me. It has to be about sacrifice. It has to be about longing and waiting and maybe trading and giving attention to the hunt and the search and the education and learning about it. There has to be something more than just putting down your credit card and then it coming to you. I feel like a Grail needs to be a quest. It needs to be a journey, and it needs to give you something. And I think you can quote Indiana Jones in The Last Crusade. What does it give you? Illumination, or at least inspiration. And it should bring you closer to yourself as you write and you journal and you think about where you're going in your life. It should bring you closer to your community and make you more fulfilled that you accomplished something. You accomplished a Grail fountain pen. that is a wonderful, wonderful feeling. So let me know in the comments what your Grail pen choices are. Yorkie Mama says the Pilot 823. The PC 823. One of my personal favorites. An absolutely brilliant pen. I should bust mine out again. I haven't used it in a bit, but what a fantastic pen. So what are yours? Let me know in the chat. Let me know in the comments. And hit like and subscribe, guys. If you haven't subscribed, please do. Come on this journey. And if you're one of my critics, please reach out. I'd love to chat. Always open to a conversation. It would be a lot of fun. So in a couple minutes, not yet, but in a couple minutes, we're going to flip over to my regular channel. I can't automatically direct you because I don't know how. There probably was a way. But if you could just go to Hemingway Jones and check out the Esterbrook Esty Back to the Land video, which features the 1970s in all its interesting detail. It's a lot of fun. It's a very brief and brisk history, but I think you'll enjoy it. And I want to reiterate once again, buy the pen if it inspires you, if it draws something out of you that you haven't felt before, if the color just motivates you. Estes are beautifully balanced pens. Watch the video. I have a lot to say, but I am not selling you pens. I am selling you videos. I am selling you the experience of seeing the world through the filter of a fountain pen, how it all connects, how we become a better community and better people and just more supportive. That's what I'd like to see, more care and support. You guys are like the generous group of people I've ever met. So as I meet more and more of you on pen shows and around, it's just been such a great experience for me. So let's all be more of that. You definitely inspire me to be the best version of myself that I can be. Because I need a lot of work. But I'm coming along. I'm coming along in my old age. But it's super exciting. So I think you'll enjoy that. And I think you'll enjoy the Sheen War video as well, which is coming up Thursday at noon. Sheen War. So fun. I had a blast making that video. Did I make a mess? Oh, yes. Yes, I made a mess. I got reckless with ink again. So it can happen. So it really does on occasion happen. I'm just keeping an eye on the clock. We got like 2 more minutes before we pop over. Going to have some interesting filming coming up. Got some Magna Carta pens to get to yet, which I also haven't filled. And 2 pens from Gravitas. This one came filled. This was actually filled when I got it. I don't know what's in here. I think it's Yamabudo, but I'm not sure. And then, of course, this brilliant pen. So these will be coming up on the channel very soon. I've been filming like a madman. So I think you'll appreciate it. But I think you'll really like this video on the Esterbrook Esty. Coming up in less than a minute. So I am going to say goodbye. Let's all pop over to my other chat. And let me thank Izzy real quick. Thank you so much for the $20. Thank you. You are the best, Izzy. You're a good man. Thank you. Really appreciate the super chat. Thank you all for watching. Let's pop over to my Hemingway Jones channel. You'll see me in the chat there. And let's take a look at the Esterbrook Esty Back to the Land fountain pen. It should be starting right now. So thank you. Love you all. See you further up the road.